Hi, and welcome to this next edition of The Buzz, everything that's happened at Abington High School, especially regarding the world of athletics. My name is Shawn Reilly, and this show is going to be our wrap-up of the 2021-22 season. A lot of good things happened here at Abington High School on the athletic fields, basketball courts, on the turf, on the grass. And with me to start off today's show is our athletic director, Peter Serino. Peter, the spring was a very positive session for the Abington Green Wave across the board. If you can, a little summary, a little review of everything that the Green Wave was able to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking, and of course, thanks for doing this show. As always, it's great to highlight some of the things that our student athletes are doing. So the spring season, as you mentioned, was remarkably successful for our students. All of our team sports actually qualified for the tournament, which is the first time I can remember that happening in a while. And then in addition to that, our track team had an outstanding season as well. To talk a little bit about them, Maria Wood wrapped up an outstanding career that she's had here. A number of other students as well. The track coaches at the beginning of the year always say that one of their goals is to make me have to schedule a bus to go to the state meet, which is a lofty goal, because we have our school vans that are donated that people can take. So to get to a bus means we had to get to 20 plus kids to qualify for the state meet, which is remarkable. That's individually, right. Yeah. That means that they're the best in the state, and they were able to accomplish that. And our track coaches, and some of the kids made a number of trips out to Westfield. There were about 4 trips over a 10-day period out to Westfield to compete. But it was outstanding to see so many kids have that opportunity and really represent our school so well. And then, our lacrosse teams both returned to the tournament after a brief absence. Our boys lacrosse team hosted a home game. Unfortunately, it didn't go their way. And our girls lacrosse team played a great game in the first round. They ended up losing by a goal, but it was really exciting for them to go from no wins the previous year to 10-8 in the regular season and have an opportunity to get to the tournament. It's really a testament to, the senior class worked really hard. They lost their sophomore year due to COVID. Last year, they took their lumps and didn't win a game, and they committed themselves, and they, under the leadership of Coach Katie Colley and assistant Gabby Majensky, they were able to qualify for the tournament, which is great for them.
Yeah, Coach Colley and Coach Majensky really, I talked to some of the players in the girls lax team. They were real happy with the success they had this year, and that program is really developing very well, so much to look forward to. We also had some success on the tennis courts.
Yeah, Coach Wakeland led the tennis team. Cecilia Lindo was Ellie Lindo was the #1 player this year. She had an outstanding season, and the team qualified for the tournament for the first time in a number of years, which was really exciting. It's great to see the growth of the program under Coach Wakeland in her second year. We have a number of more kids participating, which is great, and also the talent is really developing. So to qualify for the tournament is impressive for that group with the limited experience. There's not a youth tennis program in town, and then a lot of these kids, again, 2 years ago there was no season, so they missed that foundation. But last year they put the time in and they really grew this year, and they saw the result in qualifying for the tournament, which was great.
And then another team that, again, just did great was the Ultimate Frisbee team. I mean, they went the whole 9 yards, so to speak.
Yeah, the Ultimate Frisbee team kind of had an up and down regular season. They finished, right around 500. It wasn't anything great, but what really impressed me about that team was the growth that they had. Yeah. And in talking with Coach Cutter and Coach Barry, the assistant coach, they really focused on that development throughout the year, and it paid off. At the end of the year, they competed in a statewide tournament put on by USA Ultimate. It's not an MIA sport, but USA Ultimate puts on a one-day tournament with teams from all across the state, and they went and participated in the Division III tournament, and they actually won the whole thing. In that run, they beat some of the teams that they lost to during the regular season. So I think it really speaks to the growth and development of the team throughout the year.
That's amazing. And getting back to the track teams for a second, the only problem that the track team has given us is that we have to keep updating the records board. They keep breaking school records and personal bests. And if you haven't been up to Riley Field, the track at just adjacent to the public library, there's a big board up on the side of the concession and storage building with all of the high school records. And We're going to have to keep updating a few of them because folks like Mia Scarpelli and Jackie Erner, and they just keep getting better and better, which is, again, kudos to that program, their coaches. And also this spring, we had 2 great seasons from the softball and baseball teams.
Yeah, both of them had outstanding regular seasons and great tournament runs. The softball team advanced to the state quarterfinals, which is very impressive. It's a deep run. They won a couple of tournament games, and they lost a tight one in the quarterfinals at Wacona Regional after a nearly 3-hour ride out there. Yeah. It was tough, but they're a really young team. They only had one senior, Megan McCann, who was, a valuable contributor. But coming back, they bring, their whole team back. So, they're excited about the future there. And, the only games that they lost this year were to, not only tournament teams, but high-quality tournament teams. So I think it speaks to the growth that they've had as well, and hopefully, they can continue that progress next year.
Yeah, it's a great team. They're fun to watch. They're going to be someone. Even Casey Bailey will be back. She was injured early in the season, which is a big loss for the team. But all the younger kids stepped up, and most of the team is younger kids. Elsie Testa, Callie Pino, Shannon Vivaziotis on the mound. I mean, there was just a number of them that were playing like they were like seniors, and most of them are sophomores. So I think you're going to see a lot of Abington Green Wave softball on the diamond next year, something to really tune into and get ready. And then, of course, our baseball team went to the state semifinal. That was a great ride for the boys on the diamond.
Yeah, absolutely. The baseball and softball teams, we've kind of become accustomed to deep runs there. And with baseball, it was no different. Of course, last school year, they went to the state finals and unfortunately lost. And this year, they made it right back to the state semifinals. To make deep runs back-to-back years in high school sports, I think really speaks to, the culture of the overall program. Yeah. And it's no different with baseball. Coach Praxis does an outstanding job. And the kids really buy into what he does. And to get that deep this year was something that the kids should be proud of. Obviously the semifinal was a great game, extra innings, and they came up short. But to be one of the final 4 teams in the state of Massachusetts is impressive. They're
outstanding. And again, they got a lot of young talent, sophomores coming up, juniors. Spencer Merrick, one of the best catchers around. A lot of freshmen down at the JV level, so that baseball team is going to be stronger than ever next year once again. And Abington really represented themselves. As you mentioned, they were out at Westfield, they were up in Lynn playing baseball, they were at Wacona playing softball. So the name of the Abington Green Wave was really broadcast and represented very well by our student athletes. And getting into something you mentioned before about, kind of getting younger kids ready, we do have some recreation programs that if people are interested, 982-2122 is the recreation phone number, or you can go to abingtonrec.com and get all the information about some of the summer programs, whether it's baseball, basketball. I think there's a tennis, there's swimming, and you're in charge of the basketball program, which just started today. How's that going?
It's great. It's great to see so many young kids interested in playing. The Park and Rec department really does an outstanding job of offering recreational program for kids throughout the summer, whether it's, like you mentioned, baseball, basketball, volleyball, tennis. There's really a number of things to do, and it's great for the high school kids as well. Obviously it provides a job opportunity for them too, but for them to understand, that they're role models and a chance to kind of pass the torch. I have kids who are in college now, who are college athletes coming back to work the camp, and I remember when they were campers. So it's great to see, and they get excited about coming and watch, the teams throughout the year because they remember those kids at camp. And, that's not just with basketball. Like you said, it's every sport. It really gives our high school kids an opportunity to serve as mentors and coach the youth and kind of put their imprints on the program going forward.
Yeah, we really encourage parents to get involved at the early age, not just wait until high school. I mean, even the flag football program is huge in Abington. It's co-ed, it's kids, all the young kids playing, and, youth soccer's always been a big program here in Abington, and that, really sets them up for some real good competition at the high school level. And as you just mentioned, a lot of success here at Abington High School. And speaking of success, there's a basketball in front of the table that we're sitting at, which is the basketball is presented to you this past basketball season when you accomplished your 100th victory in just a short time period, about 7 seasons. So kudos to you, congratulations. But 2 other coaches celebrated milestones just this past year also.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Praxis earned his 300th career win this spring, and Coach Kelleher also earned his 300th career win in the fall. And, you know, they're just examples of some of the great coaches that we have. We're extremely fortunate to have a number of great coaches at the high school to kind of lead the kids and, you know, give them an example as to not only within the sport, but beyond. I know in my position, I get to work with all of them, and I recognize how fortunate I am to have such a group of accomplished coaches. In particular to Coach Kelleher and Coach Praxis, you know, I can say I am a much better coach because of what I've learned from each of them. I was fortunate to be an assistant with Coach Praxis for a while, and Coach Kelleher has been the head coach for as long as I can remember, but while I've been the athletic director, so to see how they carry themselves and just conversations with them, you know, certainly made me a better coach, and I think all of our coaches throughout all the sports really work well together, and I think we all make each other better.
Well, and I guess I want to send a shout out to you as the athletic department, the athletic director, the Abington School administration from the superintendent on down, the Abington Greenway boosters and our business community and the families of Abington who really do a lot to support youth sports and high school sports. You know, keep them in cleats and off the streets is something that the boosters like to say. And we're very proud to see that all of those investments in our kids have been, you know, really paying off. So, Peter, I want to thank you for this past school year, all the work you've done at the athletic department. Congrats on your successes and all the team successes. We're going to take a break and we're going to come back with one of those 300 career victory coaches. Talk to him a little bit more about his team of the past and the team, what he hopes to see in the future here at Abington High School. We'll be back in just a bit.
Hi, I'm Chris Manova.
And I'm Mike O'Leary, and we're interns here at Abington Community Access and Media.
Though you don't have to be an intern to get involved.
You can always volunteer.
Here at Abington Cam, we have a state-of-the-art production studio where you can create all the types of podcasts, shows, PSAs, interviews, you name it. It's all up to you. So, what can you do to get involved?
To start off, you can monitor audio levels with our intriguing state-of-the-art audio board.
Or perhaps you'd rather be behind the camera shooting all the action.
Maybe you'd opt in to be in front of the camera and maybe be the star of your own show.
Maybe you'd rather direct the production via the switcher. Ready one, take one.
If you want to learn more, come on down to the studio. We always have room for more.
If you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out and come by and see what you can do here at Abington Cam.
All right, we're back with more of The Buzz, everything that's happening at Abington High School regarding Green Wave athletics, and it's now my pleasure to introduce my guest for the second half of this show, Abington football head coach Jim Kelleher. Mr. Kelleher, Coach Kelleher, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much for allowing me to be here today.
No problem. It's a thrill to have you here. You have been the head coach of the Green Wave. Now you just finished your 48th season as head coach. You had what, 3 years before that as an assistant. So you've been here for more than half a century as a coach, never mind the years that you spent playing here for Abington High School. Last year was a big year as far as milestones for you. At the beginning of the year, we celebrated your 500th game as the head coach for the Green Wave.
Right.
And for those of you who were there at the game, it was against Rockland, and there was a huge crowd out in the field. We had your entire family, which was a large family, and all your nieces and nephews, and a lot of former players were there on the field. We had a nice celebration and presented you with a ball and a banner. That was great. But then fast forward towards the end of the year, and as Pete Serino alluded to earlier, there was a playoff victory, and that was your 300th career victory.
Yes.
Which there's not many coaches in Massachusetts can get to that level. And it was so important that your team, you weren't there at the game.
I wasn't even there.
Due to COVID regulations, he wasn't able to attend the game. But the team, they had a big talk before the game. They wanted to win it for you, get that 300th victory, and you tell us, what did they do after that game?
Well, they did succeed on all of those fronts, which, congratulations to them because they did a great job, and assistant coaches, did a great job because they are a great group of assistant coaches also. And then they stopped by at the house and,
Stop by. Wait, you're sitting home, listening to the game on the radio. Game ends, and all of a sudden you hear sirens coming in the distance.
Yeah.
And here comes the team buses, a couple of buses with the police escort, going all the way to Coach Kelleher's house, so the team could get out of the bus and give you the ball.
Give me the ball. So that was very gracious and very, how do I say, just a great point in my coaching career. A nice happening in that aspect. So I was really happy for him, and I was excited. And
it was one of those small town things that that Abington always boasts about. It makes us a community where really the kids were so excited to be able to deliver. The kids, the athletes, the members of the team, your assistant coaches were all there. And it was nice. And in fact, there was TV coverage of that.
I know what there was.
You were on Channel 4, I believe it was, and they were talking about this guy named Jim Kelleher with the green hair in Abington. You're obviously a legend, and you have a legacy here at Abington High School. What do you recall about your career? Some of the games that come to your mind that are some of your favorite memories?
Well, there's no doubt that the first time I was able to come back here after graduating from college, I had got into interstate transportation. That was my major, was management in college, and I was heading off with a nice company, and there was going to be some good times with that. And then all of a sudden somebody came up with a telephone call and said, "Hey, do you think maybe you'd like to be teaching and maybe coaching?" And it was like, here I am sitting in an office and with my other people there, and all of a sudden I said to him, "Yeah, you bet." And they all looked at, "What are you talking about?" And the guy who, my boss at the place I was working, said, "You are absolutely got to be crazy," because he did mention the fact that you stay with us, and within 5 years you'll be making $100,000 plus. And I think after 5 years of teaching, maybe I was making about 22,000 plus.
And appropriately, your first game as a head coach was against
Rockland, against our rival, Abington Rockland. My dad went to school in Rockland, so every time that I was playing or when I was coaching for the time frame that my dad was able to go to the games, he just had, you could see on his face the excitement that he had, so really any time that we play Rockland, I really enjoy it, because it is, particularly, of course, for the town of Abington and all the sports that we play, boys and girls. When you play Rockland, you got to be really excited. You got to be really, just really.
It's a different level.
It's a different level.
For those of you who aren't aware, Abington, Rockland, and Whitman used to be one town, the old Abington, back in the day, and then they split up in the 1800s. And so there are a lot of families, as you just alluded to, who kind of crossed the town lines because they grew up in. Rockland used to be East Abington.
Yeah, because I know that a lot of my dad's friends weren't happy when he moved to Abington.
Right, exactly. So it's it was family and family kind of reuniting, and it really built up a really kind of a historical competition, which was great.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's true with our Thanksgiving Day game, Abington, Whitman, Hanson. I mean, you must have some great memories with the 48 games you've coached there.
I know it. And the nice thing about that, of course, is there was another connection because, first of all, I did get to really know Bobby Tan. Bobby Tan was a special person.
The head coach at Whitman Hanson for a number of years.
All right. And when I got to know him at a different level, not so much on the coaching table, but off of it, boy, he was just a great man. And then my roommate, then my classmate goes over and teaches in Whitman and becomes the athletic director in the women, and then becomes the head coach after Bobby. So here we are competing.
Your Abington High School classmate, Bob Bancroft, becomes the head coach at Whitman Hanson, and you two play each other on Thanksgiving.
And it can't get any better than that.
Right.
Can't get any better. You know?
So there was a personal thing. There was,
Yeah.
I'm sure, a little, bets behind the scenes,
Yeah.
behind the scenes between each other and your families. And you were there when they celebrated the 100th game, the 100th
Yes,
Thanksgiving
right.
Day game, which was
Yeah,
a
I
great
know.
event. And we've seen a lot of great history being made on the gridiron, really. And you've been there for
For a while.
Yeah.
For a good portion of it.
you help to make it work. Now, you've also got a great group of assistant coaches that are working with you now and in the past. You seem to be able to put together a real cohesive unit, and you get a lot of former players that come back to
Yeah.
work with you.
Yeah, that is the most important thing, because I'm the head football coach at Abington, but that doesn't mean anything because we got to work as a group with the players that we have to try to work to get the success that we'd like to have and the excitements and the good times that the players would like to have. And I really do. I tell people all the time that my most grateful thing is the fact that my coaching staff I consider to be one of the best. I really, truly do. All the coaches do their job. They work hard at it. We all have our own things that we want to do, and then we put it all together with each other. But my coaching staff does as much as I'm expected to do probably as a head coach. They do just as much, and that's why I think that without a doubt, why we enjoy the times that we have and the success that we've done.
And you learned from a pretty good coach when you played football, and he's still around.
He's still around.
Walter
Almost,
Pastor.
I think he is 100.
Yeah. He's 100 years old.
100 years old.
He's still sharp as a tack, and he, I know, has been important in your life.
Yes, he has, without a doubt. I had him as a coach, and he was not. He was probably not the guy that you really appreciated when you were coaching, because he was a tough coach, without a doubt. But he taught you the things that you needed to be taught in the game of football to work to try to be successful with your teammates, and I was just so happy to go from being a player under him, who sometimes goddamn coach, but then to go work with him and to find out what a just great guy that he really is, and I consider that one of the most pleasurable things in my life, to go from that level to the next.
Well,
with him.
I'm kind of glad you brought that up, how a coach can really kind of teach you things that not only apply to just the football field, because I hope you would recognize that you obviously do that to the kids you've been coaching over the last 50 years. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of the kids come back to your program to coach with you, and they come back to the games to watch the kids who are wearing their numbers now.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
And I've personally obviously have heard a lot of stories about the things you've done for a lot of the players, and even other kids that in high school don't play for you.
Yeah.
But how each kid's different. Some kids need to be pushed and kicked in the butt.
No kidding. Yeah.
Some kids need to have a little bit of an arm around the shoulder.
Yeah.
There are all a lot of personalities, and you found a knack for that. As the head coach, you kind of oversee everything. You've got your offensive coordinator, your defense coordinator, your linebacker, and your receiver coaches, but you're kind of the glue that puts everything together. And those kids, I mean, it's amazing the number of stories that they talk about what an effect you've had on their lives, that bringing forward, they feel like they become better fathers, better friends to other guys, even better husbands.
Yeah.
And I hope you recognize what an impression you make on a lot of the student athletes coming through this town.
And the way you just talked about that is, again, the reason why I'm able to do that is because of my coaching staff. All right, and from my offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, positional coaches and stuff to that nature. All right, they do a great job. They ask me questions about it. Sometimes I talk about it and want to add something to it, and they'll listen, and we're successful with it, and it works. And I'm just happy that, and every day that I go to the locker room, getting ready for a practice or getting ready for a game, I see the coaches come in. I'm just happy that these guys are going to be on the sideline helping, doing their job, and I think we're going to have a good day today, and we're going to have a good game, and it's going to be successful for us.
A lot of people haven't been in the Abington High School football locker room. You obviously live, breathe, been there. He literally sweeps it out after the games are over. I mean, he's there all the time. And it's in the Frollo School, which was built in the 1930s.
Yeah.
And a lot of the locker room, you can tell, has been there since the 1930s.
No kidding.
But there's a sign on the wall that each kid taps before they leave the locker room and head out to the field. And what's the sign say, and what's the meaning of that?
Well, I think it was a long time ago that, somebody mentioned that, and I forget who. I don't know if it was me, I don't know if it was somebody else, but, we as coaches, we were talking about the fact that we got to have, somebody mentioned, we got to have something that as we go along, like before the game, that even though it might be a stupid little saying to some people, okay, that is going to connect us all together, okay, and it was that simple little phrase, "Don't back down."
Right.
That's what it is. It's as simple as that. And when you open the door to the locker room, all right, as you walk right in, okay, there's a sign right there, up a little bit above your head, "Don't back down." And we just learned the fact that every time we go into that locker room, every time we exit that locker room, we tap it a little bit. We might say it, under our breath, "Don't back down," or it might be nice and loud, whatever it is. But that's what we live by.
Every single player.
Every single player, And if you want to talk about anything in Abington football, I think they'd always like you to bring up that little sign, when we walk in, "Don't back down."
Well, you've had a lot of success with it. You've had 2 state championships. You've had 3 Super Bowl championships. We were at Gillette last year.
Yeah.
You've coached in the 1930s era Frollo locker room. What's it like to be sitting there at Gillette Stadium leading your team out to the turf at Gillette?
I know. It really is like, holy smoly, this is a pretty could be a place to work out of, the Gillette Stadium. But at the same time, I think that the Frollo to me is like a castle. It really is. I mean, it's old. It's got uniqueness to it, but I think maybe that's the nice part of it.
It's a great place to watch a game up on the bleachers overlooking the field.
Yeah.
With the press box high in the sky there, and as you know, I've been doing the commentating for a lot of years, so I've seen a lot of Greenway sports, but there is no better venue in the local area than Memorial Field in Abington. Yeah. And this, as much as time changes, some things don't change. Memorial Field and Coach Kelleher on the sideline. Yeah. You've seen a lot. Yeah. And you've built up this program to now kids who are in, middle school want to play for Coach Kell, want to play for the Green Wave. And, we want to thank you for building that up. And what are you looking forward to coming up for this fall?
For this fall, first of all, after coming up to this fall, after what we went through, and everybody else in the United States with COVID, it was a challenging year last year. Just to get ready for a game, whereas as the game approached on the weekend, you don't even really know if you're going to have that game or not, right? Because the way things were. So all of the games that we had, we were very happy to be in, and we tried to give our best, And this year, there's still some questions about it, but I think it's going to be a little bit back to normal. Okay, so hopefully we can get somewhere down the line to be all the same as it was before. But that's what we're looking for. We're just going to prepare like we would any other time as we get into preseason, as we get into preseason, then get into a week season, getting ready for a game. Hopefully we're just going to get back into that road.
And your preseason starts, first week of August, is it?
Well,
second week?
Mid-August.
Mid-August.
Yeah.
Get ready to go, and the kids are out there working out on their own right now, getting ready to play some Greenway football. Coach, we want to thank you for coming on The Buzz to talk about Greenway football, and I'm sure we'll get you back here next school year. It's been an exciting 2021-22 sports season here at Abington High School. We've accomplished a lot. I want to thank everybody who supported us. The guys at Abington Cam, Kevin Tachi, and Matt Nelson, who do all the stuff behind the scenes for us and bring you all those games at home. So if you can't get to the game, you can watch it. Or if you were at the game, you can watch it again. And then, of course, the coaches like Coach Kelleher and Coach Serino and Coach Paraxelis and everyone all the way down the line. We've got a great coaching crew here at Abington High School, and we have student athletes who are willing to put in the effort in the classroom and in the locker room, and it's paying off for the Abington Green Wave. Again, to all the people in Abington who reach out, whether you throw a $5 donation to the boosters or if you just come to the game and just celebrate our students and kind of give them extra encouragement. There's a lot of reasons to take pride in Abington, and a lot of it comes right here and emanates from Abington High School. So on behalf of all the student athletes, we want to say thank you. I want to thank you for tuning in to The Buzz, and we hope to see you this fall, and we'll be back with The Buzz this fall to tell you more and more about all the good things here at Green Wave Nation. So long for now. Have a great summer.